Well, there you go. Oh, we are live. Hello.
We are.
Welcome to In the Corner. Welcome to the new YouTube channel. Welcome to No Player Left Behind as well. I've just realised as we went live there, it was all working. Apparently we're not live on X where we thought we were going to be, but it is what it is. So apparently you have to have a premium now, which I didn't realise. Anyway, it wouldn't be one of my shows if there wasn't any technical difficulties, let's face it. So I am, of course, Benny Mac. Over that side of the screen, Mr. Tyler himself. It's been a hot minute, Tyler, to be fair. It's been about a year.
It's been a long time.
Not quite a year, but almost a year since we've done any In the Corner. This is obviously, this is episode 90 of In the Corner. As I said, massive, almost a 12-month hiatus of not doing it. But as we go forward, we will be doing it live on a Wednesday, 7 p.m. Tyler hopefully will be with me when he can, and that's off we go. And the YouTube channel is going to be used for some. It's all wrestling related, so game and stuff, and everything to do with wrestling, basically, Tyler. So, but first off, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I am so happy to be back on In the Corner, and with Benny Mac. I mean, this show's great. When things go awry, to me, it's just part of the fun. I think it's fantastic. We meant for it to go this way, folks. So thank you for joining us, and I'm just so happy to be here. I'm pumped up, man. You can tell I've had the coffee. There's something in the water I'm drinking. So Benny, how are you, my friend? And I love joining you. It's going to be awesome.
It's good. I'm looking forward to doing the show again, and obviously I know it's going to take a little bit of time to build up the audience on the YouTube side. The podcast version, so the audio version of this, once it's done, will be on Thursdays roughly on SJP World Media, like it always has been. But yeah, so sometimes, every Wednesday we'll be doing this show talking about what's going on in WWE. It's a big weekend coming up, obviously. Royal Rumble's coming. But because it's been a little while since me and Tyler have been able to sit down and talk to your good selves, we are going to talk a little bit about main event, a bit of Raw, and then Rumble stuff, and who we think might be coming, who's not coming. Is that person coming from AEW? Is that person coming from TNT? You know, so it's that time of year. You could almost call it you've called it WrestleMania, the Christmas of wrestling. We're seeing a lot of people would agree with that, to be fair.
Yes. I mean, it is the Christmas of wrestling. It's a Hanukkah of it. No matter what your background, it's going to be just
the holidays
incredible.
Of wrestling.
Yeah,
then we'll call
it's the holidays. Put Easter, all of it. Valentine's Day. It's just going to be a big present wrapped with all your favorites. I mean, it's the Royal Rumble. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We're on the road to In the Corner. We are live. This is a time for jubilation, Benny. I've got to calm down. I got to know my role as The Rock on my T-shirt. You know what to say.
It's all good, man. But yeah, so like I said, we're live. We're live on YouTube. Like I said, Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time. What time is it for you where you are? 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
It's a little bit after 1. It is 1:05. Actually, I'm on American Central Time, so it's so neat that we're able to get together. Though there's the big time difference is what I'm trying to say, and then we're in different countries. Yeah,
across the pond, like we used to say. Yeah. But yeah, man, episode 90. We are kind of talking about, again, the YouTube channel has just literally been launched like last week and stuff, and the podcast is on there, and everything will be on there, and obviously live streams will be on there and stuff. So we're going to build the audience up on YouTube, like I said before. But there's loads of stuff to talk about. I mean, I wasn't even going to message you earlier and say we could even throw some of the video game stuff in, but I think I'll save that for another show. For those watching live right now or even on record, the QR code up on the top by my head, which is that way. I'll get it right in a minute. No, that way. I'll get it right. There we go. That's our X. You can scan that and go. That'll take you to our X. And then also, because we are part of the SJP World Media, that is also the SJP World Media's X. And then if you want to email the show, you can. You also scanning that QR code. So these will be intermittently popping up through the evening, and then you can scan them where it is. And then we'll also have stuff like this up at the bottom as well. Why not? For those who aren't watching,
we're going to have a bunch of stuff. You're going to wish it was St. Patrick's Day by the time this show's over. You don't have to celebrate it. I don't know where I was going with it, but I went there. What can I say?
Let's crack on with the show then, man. So main event was last week. It feels like, was it last week or the week before? I should have really looked at that.
No, it was last week. This past
it was last week. Yeah, this week's gone so quickly. And well, I'm interested to get your thoughts on it, basically. So I mean, we've got a bit of a structure going on. overall. I mean, before we get into any specific matches, very quickly, I mean, just literally, what was the what do you think of the whole show? As a, are you glad to have Saturday Night's Main Event back as well? Because it's very much. I mean, in the UK, we have to watch it on YouTube. But it's on a network over there, isn't it? I believe, is that right? It's on network.
Yeah, it was on NBC, but now it's on Peacock, which is affiliated with NBC. So I got to catch the replay of Saturday Night's Main Event. I got to tell you, Benny, I think it's a breath of fresh air. It was one of the better shows. I enjoyed it better than SmackDown, to be honest. I know SmackDown was used as a vehicle to build into the storylines for the following night in Montreal. They were in Montreal for Friday Night SmackDown, and I enjoyed it. Saturday Night's Main Event, they're getting away from the nostalgic aspect, which I enjoyed, but I get you want to stay current with the times and push your new stars and go a different direction with it, but still keep the essence of what made this show special. So overall, I found the show to be enjoyable.
Yeah, again, it was. I mean, we had technically 4 matches advertised. We only actually had 3 official matches. If you go that far, being as we're going to Cody and Jacob Fatu very quickly. I think, to be honest, this is a story that's sort of broken out of after the. It's quite an interesting story overall, actually, because it's come out of the 3 Stages of Hell match where Cody lost to Drew thanks to Jacob Fatu because he was in a rage of getting Drew. Because it was only this week, really, Tyler, that I was like, oh, it was Drew McIntyre that took out Jacob. But Drew's come out and said, if it was me, I'd be saying it was me. So we've, without even realizing it, I think we've kind of got a whodunit. And, is it Drew or was he just lying? But then his whole character at the moment is very much like, he will tell you the truth. And even if you don't like it, he's still going to tell you. So who, if it wasn't Drew, then who was it? Because I've just taken it as a given that it was Drew McIntyre. But based on what's being said to us and told to us, at least, again, Drew could be lying, obviously. It could be someone else, is what I'm getting at. But who could it be? Is it a Solo, maybe? Was it actually Cody that took him out? It's to try and keep him away from the title pitch. But then that would be a proper heel turn from Cody if it was, in terms of that. So I don't know. That was quite interesting to me. But I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I don't know what your thoughts are about that very quickly before we kind of talk about the brawl or the match that didn't happen, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I like what Drew McIntyre is doing. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on it. I think you covered it beautifully. It is very fascinating to see who's going to take out who to, regarding this championship title picture. We're going into Royal Rumble. Solo, I think he's due to probably do more than just the MFTs with respect to those guys. But
yeah,
Drew McIntyre, you're correct. You're on the money. He's going to let you know if he's done it, or at least that's the picture that he paints is what I'm trying to get at. So we can just move on, but I think it is very interesting what you brought up, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I literally just took it as a given that it was Drew, to be honest. So it wasn't until he came out and said, I don't know why everybody's saying it's me, because it's not me. So I'm like, oh, so wait. And I've just gone by the assumption that it was him. So, but that's just, I'll bring that very quickly because it all kind of links together with the Cody Jacob thing. It was meant to be a match between these two. Ultimately, it wasn't a match. It was a brawl. I mean, normally we have a brawl 4 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and it's kind of over. This went on, I don't know, 10 minutes, I would say, maybe 12 minutes, give or take, and ultimately ended up, yeah, and ultimately, I mean, there's not much more to say about it, to be honest, other than it's a function to move forward the Cody Jacob story that we're going to get, I assume, and then obviously this can translate over to the Rumble this Saturday. So, like I said, there's not really much to say about it other than they punched each other quite a lot, and then ultimately Drew McIntyre came out and put them. I think Jacob went through a table and Cody, I think, went through a table or something.
Yeah, both of them went through the tables. Yeah, courtesy of the Scottish Warrior.
So, I mean, does that open up I mean, it's kind of obvious to say, I guess, but does it open up an avenue of a triple threat essentially? But then we've got, which we'll talk about later. There was a fatal 4-way at Main Event to determine the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship anyway. So potentially this could be added down the line. I don't know, but I think we're far from over from Cody and Jacob at the moment. Who the actual person that attacked him is going to be quite interesting. Who they actually go with, because I have, again, like I said a minute ago, I assumed it was Drew. So, like I said, not much to say about it really. I feel like there will be a lot to say about well, we might as well go to it now. Well, no, because you wanted to very well. Let's talk about the one of the matches of the night. Actually, to be honest, in fact, all the matches that actually went ahead were really good. For me, I'm going to say the women's tag team match, Rhea Ripley and Sky taking on Morgan and Perez, was actually a really good women's tag team match, to be honest. So probably, I think it opened the show essentially. Oh well, in terms of an official match, it opened the show because obviously Cody and Jacob came out first and just caused mayhem. But
right.
And the reason I bring it up is because I know you've got some questions about another tag team that could be involved in it. But what do you think about the tag team match, the women's tag team match on Main Event?
I thought it was awesome. I mean, to see Rhea Ripley, how she compliments Io Sky, and you could say the same for Liv and Roxanne. I mean, there was this tension. You can also use the word friction between these, especially the Judgment Day. I think eventually we'll see it with Rhea and the Io, but I love everything that I'm watching from Io Sky, just the way she can do that drop kick from off the top rope. And I'm not just talking the top turnbuckle, just the top rope in general. I just love the camera angles. I like how innovative she is, and of course,
Yeah.
like a lot of those Japanese wrestlers, they bring their own special style and skill set to this presentation of American style wrestling. What's known in Europe as well. And I like how Rhea comes in and cleans house, but yet there was a lot of near falls. You thought the match could be over a couple of times, and then you've got, of course, Stephanie Vaquer getting involved because she's got this issue with Raquel Rodriguez. And that added another dynamic, and I love how Raquel Rodriguez tripped. What was it? The referee? Is that
Rhea,
how I'm recalling it?
yeah, there was a cover happening in the ring, and Rhea was stood kind of trying to cover, like to block
Right.
and then she grabbed Rhea's legs and ended up falling on the referee to stop the count, which it was something you don't see very often, to be honest. It's
No,
more
you
like a
don't.
little save. It was quite a nice little oh, okay, cool, that was a cool moment. So they packed a lot in this match for the time it went. To be honest, it was
Yeah,
really
they
good.
did.
I enjoyed it from start to finish. I thought it was a really good match, and then it ultimately led to a 6-women tag team match on Raw with the care and everything. So, which we can talk about. But there was one thing, because you put to me before we came live and stuff, was you asked me this question, which I'm going to put out now, and then we'll see if anybody wants to jump in on this as well. But you're on about possibly Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. You thought maybe a possible split was maybe coming relatively soon.
I don't know how soon it'll be, but they're definitely giving us some details backstage with those segments, because if you remember from SmackDown, I even had to write it down in my notes. Charlotte approaches Alexa Bliss backstage. At first, you only see Bliss, and then you get the Queen Charlotte Flair appearing on screen with her on camera, per se. And she wants to know if Alexa Bliss is focused. Is she too distracted? And Alexa Bliss, reassures Charlotte that she is focused. And then Charlotte's going to make the comments, "Oh, I won the Royal Rumble last year for the women." And then Alexa Bliss goes, "Well, yeah, I also returned." So it's just little
Yeah.
snippets like that are entertaining, yet it's leading somewhere eventually. But you brought up a good idea, and I'll let you take this, Benny, because we need to hear this great perspective you have as the host and creator of this fantastic program in the corner. You gave me some thoughts on where this could lead concerning, the other tag team we were just talking about with Rhea and Io, but possibly maybe taking on Charlotte and Alexis. I'll let you elaborate.
Yeah, well, I mean, from my perspective, obviously they did lose the tag titles, and ultimately the tag titles have ended up on the around the waist of Rhea and Io Sky, but we haven't actually had Alexa, Charlotte, Rhea, and Io. So my thought process was that I could almost see, like, conveniently we have had those two teams separated to a degree. They've interacted with promos, and there's been a bit of this, tomfoolery, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, they've kept them apart, which I think is now whether it's just these two teams. I don't know whether we're going to have some sort of like WrestleMania ladder match, fatal four way, TLC tables, like cage match with a whatever. But I think you're right with the nuggets that are being placed in front of us in terms of the splitting. Possibly, I think it's inevitable. When it happens, I don't know, but the more I think about it, I think we are going to see possibly Rhea. It's another way of getting Rhea and Charlotte back together and having those. They had one-on-one matches, didn't they? They've had a couple at WrestleMania. Rhea,
yeah, they had a lot of classics.
Yeah, and Rhea beat Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title before it became the Women's World Championship that we've got now and stuff like that. But I think they're keeping the teams apart to ultimately get them together at Mania. Now, in terms of how that looks like, but I think as long as everything goes smoothly, I think the women's tag team titles, they might even trade hands before Mania, maybe Elimination Chamber, and then do you know what I mean? But ultimately, I think that I looking at the card, why would you not want Rhea, Io, Charlotte, and Alexa at WrestleMania? And this is a good way, I think, to have those tag titles be defended. Now, does Rhea and Io retain? Let's assume they are keeping the titles. Does the fact that they retain cause the question that you asked, which was, is there a possible split here going on? That could definitely cause it. So again, we've got several months to go before Mania. We've got several.
No, we do. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but I could see what you laid out. Part of me actually transpiring with maybe that's the final crack, and we see in the relationship between Charlotte and Alexa, and who knows who will turn first on who if it does in fact occur, because Alexis has that mean streak due to the Wyatt Six and her previous association to the darker side with Bray Wyatt's characters. So it'll be all very enthralling to see what develops in this next chapter.
I mean,
I like the idea.
Yeah, I mean, do we see Alexa eventually go with the Wyatt Six and stuff? I said that to you off air. Does that happen? Maybe not. I don't know. Because if you do the whole friend betraying her, which would be Charlotte, that could cause a spiral for Alexa in order to go back to that side of things again, which I think could be interesting. And long term, I don't know what that does for the rest of the group and Nikki Cross and all the others, but why not explore that, that potential? I mean, because the Wyatt Six, I like them. The association with Bray obviously is a big fan of Bray Wyatt. Obviously, we both were. So I'd like to see more from that group, obviously. So, but I just feel like they're keeping the two, especially Alexa and all that, away from each other till Mania. So I could be wrong. It might be more telling after this Saturday in terms of the Rumble and who wins the Women's Rumble.
Correct.
Which we'll get to a bit later on.
Yeah, there could be a lot of following the Rumble, the aftermath of that premium live event. I just want to touch on something real quick. I think Alexa Bliss going over to the Wyatt Six would help them greatly, because I told you honestly, as much as we both admire Bray Wyatt and we love the idea of keeping his legacy alive, and I say this respectfully, they have fell flat to me lately creatively. And I think, I haven't watched wrestling in months, but even tuning back in, something is amiss with this group. And I don't know what it is. I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but it's just from a fan's point of view and from somebody who normally can take the darker, creepier characters. It's I think Alexa Bliss, to your point, would be a great help to them. And nothing against Nikki Cross. I'm a big fan of hers. But Alexa Bliss, with her past association, as we've aforementioned, this could be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the Wyatt Six.
And it's the Wyatt Six is I think a lot of fans like ourselves who were Bray fans and stuff like that want it to work, and we do want. But what's the right way of saying it? Nostalgia of Bray is that's carried them to a degree, but now they've kind of got to all right, yes, but now you've got to show us something. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, they've got to prove themselves. Huh?
Yeah, I think we need to see more of them, but at the same time, you need a reason to see them. and obviously the tag titles were one reason, but now the MFTs have got them. So it's and obviously the whole Lantern thing's been stolen by Solo, and I don't know. Again, it's one. I think maybe there's a. It's a slow burn story, but it needs something to
Yeah, it
keep
needs
me
something
somewhat
to
keep me
catch on
wanting to know
fire.
what.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the slow burn.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. You still need to be. You still want something to grab you every week and go, I want to tune in because of, and there might be 3 or 4 things, but I want the Bright
Exactly.
Sticks to be something. I want it to be something, but I don't know. I can't. I would love to say they should do
You
this.
want it to be a little more entertaining and more personal. I think that's what some of these rivalries that I didn't mean to interject what on you, Benny, but I was just going to add. I think you just want to see these issues matter a little more. Like the lantern, you could still see through it a little bit. I mean, I get it. That's taking the lantern, but at the same time, it's like, well, what else is there though? I mean,
Yeah,
how am I supposed to be invested? I mean, and maybe I'm being a little too hard on it and overthinking it, but at the same time, I'm trying to be honest too.
yeah,
And like I've not been fascinated enough with this story and with some of the matches too. I mean, they're talented, but it takes more. And I hope it is a slow burn, but once again, it needs to catch a flame. I mean, they need
yeah. It
something.
needs
So
something.
that
Yeah,
would be huge.
yeah, definitely, man. I think if once they'd taken the lantern, unless I missed it, I didn't see a promo about I didn't see like Uncle Howdy or Bo coming out making a video promo about taking the lantern and what we're going to do to you when we get hold of you. We know the lantern's important. It's like the urn for the Undertaker. I get it, but I think it needed a bit more fucking oomph in it. Is excuse my language, but
No,
it
it
needs,
did. No, I
you know,
mean, you're
you know.
right.
So yeah, um, yeah, that's kind of it really. So one of the big questions we're going to ask. So Sami Zayn won the Fatal 4-Way. Is now going to be. Oh, it's going to be in Saudi. I could have seen any one of those guys winning that match, to be honest. Randy, there's element there. Trick coming in, and so either way, really, I just feel like you could have had pretty much, or even Damien to a degree could have won it. But so I could see anybody because I think we're both under the consensus here that Drew's going to be champion for at least until Elimination Chamber. We think so, but you never know. They might play hot potato with the title. So I suppose the question is, does Sami become champ at the Rumble? Now, is it going to be a good match? 100%. Is it going to be a banger? 100%. The percentage we don't know is Sami gonna become champ? What do you think?
I say this respectfully because I'm a big supporter of Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre, but I hope not. I know he needs to win. He's a great underdog, and that's been the thing. Drew has always had his number. But I hope Drew wins because I think you need to keep the momentum with Drew, especially being this villainous gimmick again. To me, I prefer him more as a villain, and he's a great hero. I mean, it just shows you the depth of his work that Drew McIntyre puts into it. But
Yeah,
I think you got to keep the belt on Drew. Sammy's he's kind of one of those that's to me losing some momentum, though he's in a big spot here. And I get it, the Royal Rumble, and I get they were in Montreal, so they were wanting the fans to go home happy. But at the same time, I think I'd prefer Trick Williams. I think Trick has just been so impressive from the little bit that I've seen. And the only thing with Damien and Randy Orton, it'd be a great match, just like with Sammy.
yeah.
But you've kind of been there, done that. So to me, I'm all about trying to freshen things up and see what this young guy can do against a veteran like Drew McIntyre. So that's kind of the scenario I was thinking about, and that's just
I
my opinion.
so I'm with you 100%. Trick Williams would have been an absolute great match. I think no, any 4 of those, Damien, Sammy, Randy, Trick against Drew for the WWE title at Rumble would be. I mean, unless they are going to put it on Sammy this close to Mania, it would be. It would be an amazing. Because my concern is with this. So right, when you look at Trick Williams, he's just come up from NXT. You can give him a good match, and he can still leave that match looking like $1 million. He can be absolutely amazing. Randy Orton, if he loses, Drew could probably cheat, and it wouldn't hurt Randy Orton at all. Damian, I think it would hurt if he did lose to Drew again, but you can still kind of take that shine off a bit by having the DQ involved or whatever. Sami, I'm actually really I want Sami to be champion. I think most fans do. He's the underdog that just is. He's always, for those who are not watching live, he's this close. Yeah. He is this close every single time, and I'd love to see him be world champion. But we've seen him have match after match after match, which are bloody good matches.
Oh, they're great matches.
But he hasn't won the title. All right, and he had the run with the IC title, and then he put Braun over, and it's good for how he did that. They all did that, but I am actually genuinely concerned. I mean, you could bring him back next year, but how many more times can Sami almost win the big one is what I'm concerned about. And if he does lose this Saturday, I mean, I could be completely wrong. I just feel like I said, I've already said it. He's got so close every single time to become world champion, and he's just never done it. And all right, it's in Saudi. He'll have a great response, and it'll be, like we've already said, it'll be a bloody good match. I have no doubt that this is going to be one of the matches of the night. My concern going forward is, where does Sami go should he lose Saturday? If you can help me out here, Tyler, I have no idea where he goes from here.
Well, that's another question. Where does Sami Zayn? I see what you're saying and implying, because I would feel bad for Sami Zayn to be getting this push like he's been getting, and quite honestly, for a while now. Or even when he goes back down, he finds a way to find his way back up, which is great storytelling. But the problem is, I don't know. Drew McIntyre has just been so strong lately, and I guess you could switch the belts and do it quick to where Drew wins it back. I would hope if they do that Drew would get it back, because Sami Zayn, I don't know. I like Sami. I want to root for him, and that's the goal, the objective. But I don't want to see him be the champion. I guess they've done it so much and for so long. That's the only thing. It's just, but I get what you're saying. I mean, where does he go? And I think that's the hard part. What do you do?
Does he pull double duty? Does he have an excellent match with Drew and somehow comes out at like 29 in the Rumble, and Sami Zayn wins the Rumble, and that gives him another shot, and then he can have that WrestleMania moment possibly, because then that also leaves it open for Chamber to give us whoever would be facing the World Heavyweight Champion, who is currently CM Punk. So, which, I mean, in my own personal opinion, I even though we got a lot to cover, and when does Seth come back? If Seth does come back, does he win the Chamber, and do we have Seth versus Punk? And we have I don't know, because what I like about it is it's not at the moment, as we're sitting here on a Wednesday on the 28th of January 2026, it's very difficult to decide. And again, Saturday will be very telling, I think, on where stuff go. But in terms of Sami, does he do double duty, and does he become a Rumble winner? And that gives him that, because he'll have that awesome moment where he'll almost become champ, and he'll have no doubt he'll have the standing ovation. Or does it end so quickly that Drew screws him over and maybe cheats, and then it's like, well, hang on a minute, you cheated, so it gives me another rematch. So there are ways. I'm not saying that, but I'm just concerned of where does Cody go? Not Cody, sorry, Sami go. Should he lose on Saturday, which I've already said. So,
Well, and he could win the Rumble or win the Chamber, but Seth Rollins will be an integral part, because I don't know how long he's supposed to be off due to his injury, or anything. But
injury. Is it a real one this time? We have no idea.
Oh, yeah. See, well, it could be. They could work us again like they did at WrestleMania. Maybe he's just taking time off, to make the fans miss him, as they say. But Seth Rollins is going to have a lot to do with it. And Sami Zayn, I'm happy for him if he does win the title. But it's like with the Wyatt Six, just different situation. Drew McIntyre he's got so much behind him, and his promos just when I think they're great, they're getting better. I mean, they're just if you could say that about a guy like Drew McIntyre.
He's no longer bored at work, so maybe we don't take it off him too soon.
No, I think he is definitely honed in. I don't think he's bored at work, because if you saw Saturday night's main event, he was definitely trying to get one up on Sammy after that
Yeah.
four-way match, and then Sammy sidesteps him. Drew goes outside, so you don't let him do too much because you got that big match at Rumble. So I understand why they didn't really get physical. Plus, Drew, we already saw where he took out Fatu and Cody. And hey, well, listen, here's another thing. Does Fatu or Cody cost Drew? Exactly. I was thinking that. Could we gloss over how he got involved in this story? Maybe it ties into the Sami Zayn and Drew.
So Jacob has cost Cody the WWE Championship. Jacob gets involved again because he believes Drew McIntyre is the guy that took him out, even though Drew's saying it's not. So again, that's a whodunit, as we said earlier. Does Jacob get involved again and cost Sami the title? And then that could lead to a fatal four-way at Chamber, possibly. Or even, so again, there's so many avenues you can go down. Literally, I think we both had that same idea at the same time then, because I was about to bring that up. But we both had the same idea.
Yeah, because I could tell by your expression. I was like, "Oh, Benny we're starting to click."
You can hear my brain ticking over like a ding. Right. So
because how can we just forget what we just talked about with Cody and Fatu, and then Drew being a part of it, or making sure he's involved.
This is what I like with this is what I like with current WWE. Like, you do have that thing now where things start to like interlock and they pass each other, and not all the time, but like it used to feel like a long time, a fair few years ago now. I'm going to say 2018-ish. Stories always felt separate to each other in blocks. I've said this many times on the podcast before. Whereas now, even stuff like in the background, putting like things in the background and stuff like that, and it just always felt separate. Whereas now we have all these little Easter eggs happening with Finn Balor, just so many things in that's going on basically. So it's just you put all these like little things around and stuff. I'm waffling a bit here, mate, but you know what I'm on about.
No, it tells a story. No, you're not.
Tells a story. That's what I was trying to get at.
Great. No, you're doing fantastic, because what you're saying, there's connective tissue, as they say. It's all threading together. Maybe not all the time. Let me back up. Let me do my own edit there. But what I meant to say is, there's certain segments that are just going to intertwine with another storyline. So no, we're following you. I'm just you're doing great. I can't tell. It's been months. I mean, you fooled
It's been a while. It's been over a year since we've done the show, so it is what it is. Well, let's move on to Raw then, man. We're coasting along here pretty well. Punk versus AJ for the World Heavyweight Championship. There was a nice moment backstage with Finn, and Finn and Punk had a great match last week. And Michael Cole, you can just call it Ireland. You don't have to call it the Island of Ireland. It's just call it Ireland, mate. All right, it's fine. It was annoying me, as you can tell. It was annoying me and my partner were watching. Goes, oh, we're on the island
Emerald Isle,
yeah, we're on the island of Ireland. No, you're an island, mate. Just it's fine. If you need to add an extra, we're in the United. Well, whatever. We're an island, mate. just stop it. Yeah, it was just that's right up there with Boom Shakalaka back all those years ago. I hated it when he said that. When Shaq was there. I like Shaq. It's
now we know what sets off Benny. Boom Shakalaka.
Don't do it in the comments.
The island of Ireland, or however he was wording it. I did catch it, and I guess they were doing it because actually Finn's technically, if I can get my words out, from Ireland, but it's Northern Ireland, Belfast. But just say Ireland. I mean, it don't.
Ireland doesn't matter. We
don't have to get too Pacific. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure you can look on a Google Maps or a map, or get yourself a globe, whatever. But it's just all, we're on the island of Ireland. You're making it difficult for yourself. Just literally, we're in Ireland. We're in wherever we are, Belfast or wherever it was. It was Belfast, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Belfast. Yes. Sir.
So but it's just like, for goodness sake, mate, come on, you don't have to do that. Anyway,
I think in the moment, maybe they were thinking, he could have even been told, "Hey, listen, just say Ireland," to make it, because it is wrestling. Let's make it sound, I don't know, have a mystique. But at the same time, it kind of was like, well, just say Ireland. It doesn't have to be this mystical place or Ireland. So I get what you're relaying to everybody.
I know some of your fellow clansmen over there think we all sound like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins and stuff like that. So we don't, by the way. Some of us do, but not all of us.
I figured that that's probably not the case because our representation of other cultures is not always going to be facts. So I'm starting to
Really?
understand it
Really?
more, the older I get. No, especially because you just said it, the way they try to do the English accents or anybody from the UK or Ireland, that they tend
Yeah.
to exaggerate. So, of
It's either
course,
Dick Van Dyke or Oliver, you know. Cool, blimey, mate. That's not our accents, man. It some people may do it, but none of us
but
do.
it's not the truth. So Dick Van Dyke has been misleading us. He made it to 100, but this is
That is
I'm
quite a work.
ashamed.
That's quite a work, to be fair. Dick Van Dyke, fair play, 100 years old, fair play. What a legend that he is.
No, but I see what you're meaning. Because it's exaggerated a lot of times.
Of
It's like
course,
when
yeah.
if I tried to do it, it would be terrible. Benny would say, "Okay, I don't know what's going on. This
And
guy needs
remove him from the stream.
yeah, you would not see me.
Yeah, Punk versus AJ World Heavyweight Championship. It turns out that apparently AJ could not be with us. There's a whole story here. Gunther has made AJ put his career on the line. I hope Gunther did tap out. The referee didn't see it, and now we've got a rematch. But Gunther says, "I'm gonna retire you," etc., etc. But the match was really good between Punk and AJ for the world title. At no point, it's always that hope in wrestling. Come on, AJ. And as much as I like Punk, you're like, come on, AJ. But the thing I didn't see coming, I did say to you off air that like I thought, oh, Gunther's going to get involved in costing the title to add even more friction between those two going into the Rumble. Excuse me, WWE conned us a little bit. We all thought we were getting babyface Finn Balor. We had the awesome music in Ireland. We had the original music. We had the and everything going on. It was brilliant to see. Massive Finn Balor fan. Always felt gutted for him for having to give up the Universal title all those years ago when he got injured with his shoulder and stuff like that. But this all, I at the time I didn't connect the dots. But Liv basically riling Finn up and Finn attacking Punk, and obviously now we get, which I'm here for, Finn versus Punk again. Hell yeah, sign me up. But I was also hoping for that babyface Finn Balor again. So I mean, what did you think about the whole process, really?
I think that was my initial reaction. I hope Finn actually gets away from the Judgment Day, and with the attack, it seems like he's as you were aforementioning, Liv Morgan was confronting him, questioning why he would even respect Punk, and she was worried because you don't have Dominic. He's hurt right now, and so Finn is that other leader. And I was teasing with you, but in reality, in my dreams maybe. But if Liv gave me that kind of look, I would probably attack somebody too, even though I would be on the receiving end where Finn was successful
Yeah,
against Punk. But seriously, with the match between Punk and Styles, and just like with Balor and Punk, I love how Punk is being this fighting champion. He's representing it well, and CM Punk. What I enjoyed, and you pretty much can see it from the highlights, Benny, how the GTS on the outside, just the subtleties of it looked like AJ was not going to be able to roll back into the ring, and then there was
yeah,
a lot of just technical wrestling. Yet it just was exciting because you there for just even a split second, there was the illusion maybe Styles could win the match, and once again, that's one of the key elements to what makes a match special and why it's good and why it can be great because the storytelling process of it, not just with the segments, but how it intertwines and seeing not just even move sets, but just the facial expressions, the
yeah.
psychology.
That was really
I
good.
think it was, it was good. And I'm not going to break it down, do commentary for you, but there's just certain spots, of course, I know we'll touch upon. And I just thought it was neat how even Michael Cole and I believe it was Corey Graves on commentary were relaying this message of, do you think Punk really wants to win the match like this, and or at least making you wonder if he was wanting
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean that was
satisfied with this result? Yeah,
that was one of the moments that like stood out to me because I thought Punk would actually roll back out to break the referee's count in order to keep the match going, which I think would have got an actual like a pretty good response if he'd have rolled out and kept the match going. But it also got a good response when AJ made it back in and 9 3/4 or whatever it was that he made it back in on. And you can even audibly hear Punk going, "Is he in? Like, is he in?" Like, because he
Yeah,
was,
the mics get a little close. Yeah, you could
yeah,
actually hear
which
Punk
was
say it.
which was really good. I thought it was like added that extra sort of like not desperation from Punk, but oh god, I've got to
Yeah,
actually,
like, yeah, I've got to
you
finish
know,
this guy off.
yeah,
He knew he was this good, but AJ proved it. And it's always been something about wrestling. Even watching the older pay-per-views or wrestling shows, always in a great match when there's an intense rivalry or a friendly rivalry that becomes intense because they've still got to have a winner and somebody's got to be a loser. Those spots on the outside, you're always wondering, are they going to DQ or are they going to make it? And you most of the time you can tell when it's like AJ Styles or CM Punk or somebody, it's like they've got to roll in at least, but it still keeps you wondering. So I
yeah,
thought it was well done, because it's climactic. It's like, is AJ going to make it? That's why Punk did the go to sleep outside. So because he thought, but I'm with you. The reaction I think would have been great if Punk did break the count, but it shows you he's a fighting champion. He's wanting to come out, even interrupt people like Styles on Raw and have the match made official. And I just think overall, just a another great match. I mean, Punk
yeah,
is to me ever since he's returned and they've allowed him to be champion. He's doing some great work. I mean, because Punk wanted to come back now with a new environment. He said it behind the scenes, and he and Triple H are getting along again. I mean, because they reached out to him once his contract with AEW was over,
yes,
and
yeah.
Punk's happy. You can tell. I mean, you can just tell it's a whole new atmosphere for him, and
A
and I've enjoyed
collaboration,
seeing this run. Yeah, yeah, the
yeah,
collaboration
collaboration.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, it's been good. But yeah, I believe we were starting to see the turn of Finn maybe leaving. There is a little part of me that thinks it still will happen because yes, Dominic's not with us at the moment, but also if because he said the Rumble's Adam Pearce told him the Rumble's full. So if Dominic's in the Rumble and not being around, is that will in theory cause more friction for Finn and the rest of Judgment Day, hopefully, with like because Dominic's getting cheered though. Last time he was on TV, he was starting to get he's got a good mix of I would say it's about 50-50 now. So it's be interesting to see what happens when it comes back. But I mean I'm here for Punk versus Finn Balor. Where that goes, I don't know. Are we going to see? It's not really been. We're so close to the Rumble. I think the matches have already been set, so I don't think we'll necessarily see Finn and Punk at Rumble. I could be completely wrong on that, unless something's changed since
Yeah,
before we came on
I
air.
was thinking the same thing. Could they make the match for Rumble? But it may be too soon. But who knows? There's still SmackDown. The
Yeah,
way they're announcing things, it was Raw. It's like Finn. I think we talked about it off air. I mean, my days run together, man. Forgive me. We probably did, and I'm just now recalling
it's all
it.
good.
It was
It's
yesterday.
all good, man.
But I'll make fun of myself for that. But I believe our talk went, or you said it, that it was just kind of humorous, not to be disrespectful, but how Balor was just now waiting to approach Adam Pearce and say, "Hey, I want in the Rumble. Can I get in?" And Pearce is like, "Well, the spots are filling up. You're just not going to be able to enter." So
I mean, I
who
did
knows?
find it.
Yeah, what's going to go on there?
I did find it funny that he basically waited until the Monday before the Rumble to. Can I be in the Rumble? No, it's a bit late, mate. To be fair, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's like,
You
could you
know,
have done this a couple weeks ago or a couple months? But I'm sure it's the creative how they laid it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, obviously, maybe he thought he was going to win the World Championship last week, you know, against Punk, which was a bloody great match. I enjoyed it from start to finish. So,
Well, I can't say enough great things about the Punk versus Balor and the Punk versus Styles, as we just mentioned.
yes, definitely, man. One thing I want to bring up before we move to, I beg your pardon, was the Rumble. Sorry, was this and Adam Pearce apologizing to Braun Breaker and the Vision. And the biggest thing I'm taking away from this is who was on the phone because he was suspended. I mean, Adam Pearce did put his hands on Braun first, but Braun, there was a big shock moment of Braun grabbing hold of, a couple of weeks ago of Adam Pearce. I went, oh, because we haven't seen this for a while. So
Yeah,
it's like,
me too.
oh,
We haven't seen
uh,
that type of aggression from Brian on an official like Adam Pearce.
yeah, exactly. So, um, my, but the phone call seems to happen. And then Pearce says, well, he can come back next week and we'll talk about it. And not only does he apologize to Braun, which he kind of has to do because he did put his hands on Braun first. but he then insists on putting every member of the Division in the Rumble, who later on then agree that they think Braun Breaker should win, and by the sounds of it, they're all going to work together. So it's just quite interesting who was on the phone. Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good name, which I didn't even think of, which was possibly Stephanie McMahon for some reason.
Stephanie McMahon.
And then that got my wheels turning, and I thought maybe here comes the money. Maybe Mr. Shane McMahon. Maybe you know, like, who was on the phone? Because it has to be someone who, no offense, it has to be someone. I mean, could it be Triple H? Possibly. I don't think that's as cool. Maybe Mr. I didn't even think of this till right this second. The man that's on your T-shirt, Tyler. Maybe The Rock. Maybe the final boss. Maybe you know. So
yeah, it could be
very, very interesting. I mean, what were your thoughts? I know I didn't mean to cut you off. What were your?
No, you cut me off anytime. It's fine, Benny. I was just going to say, yeah, the Rock could be plausible. I don't know. This one's a little tough because you know we threw out some possible names, but I'm trying to think even deeper. You know, could it just be? I don't. It couldn't be Heyman. That would be impressive. But
well, Heyman was stood there when he got the initial call. So yeah, Heyman's not going to be.
Yeah, even though that would have worked, you're right. I was trying to think of. Well, this one gets difficult actually because you would think The Rock, Shane, or Stephanie McMahon, maybe Triple H himself, Paul Levesque. I don't know because I'll tell you, and I know we're not to the Rumble yet, so I hate to spoil anything, but I'm almost wondering. This is going to sound out there. Could it be? Could this be like? But you would think it would have to be an executive. It couldn't be another wrestler though. That's the thing I'm trying to deviate from to where this ain't going to sound out there. Okay. Let me back up. Maybe it is Nick Khan. Because if I go where I think I'm going to go, it's going to be people are going to be scratching their heads. But you know, Nick Khan, I'm trying to be logical.
Sometimes wrestling isn't logical, mine. So wrestling sometimes isn't logical. So,
yeah, that's true. Well, I'll wait till the Rumble to kind of give you another maybe scenario. It's possible, but it could be any of those. I don't know that Nick Aldis because he's still a GM. I mean, could he pull strings? But Adam Pearce would not be submissive if that was
not
the case.
To the other GM. No, not
yeah,
to the other
it could
GM.
be.
No. You're right.
That's why I thought that would be wrong. Aldis is another GM.
Trying to figure it out. It's just interesting. Like you said, even with the Drew McIntyre stuff, who took out Jacob, now who's on the phone for Adam Pearce to be, and Adam Pearce has been very prolific, and when he delivers matches and all that kind of, I actually kind of want them to, for both GMs, I want them to bring back music for the GMs to have their own entrance music again, just to add a bit more, not just walk out and go, excuse me, you know, like
make it where we know. Like that's the thing I loved about William Regal, and then when they brought in Eric Bischoff too,
Teddy Long,
all those
even Vicky Guerrero, like having your own
Vicky
music,
Guerrero.
Just add that bit of, and then because I feel like we are still getting, I know this is going off a little bit, but we're still getting that Raw versus SmackDown vibe occasionally with the two GMs sort of going, this is my show, crack on, like go away, or you know, they do work together, but they also have little swipes at each other. And they've only been
they've still got a rivalry,
little bits, and I don't want the GMs to be put in like when they have been put in, which has been a couple of years now. I didn't want them to be put in and then literally the same year Survivor Series we have Raw versus SmackDown. You need to build up the momentum and the story. So I think they are doing that slowly. Yeah, give it time. We don't need it right away. When it does happen, it'll be freaking amazing. Even if we have NXT kind of choosing sides as well. And, you know, we had that kind of, you know, a fair few years ago with NXT invading to a degree, but build the story. But, yeah, I mean, just who was on the phone? Who was it? Who would have that power? But why would the only thing
it makes you think.
I mean, I'd say The Rock, but like, what would his? I mean, I can understand that for maybe like Solo or even Roman to a degree. He might get involved in some way, shape, or form, or even with the Usos. But for The Rock to be involved to get the Vision in the Rumble seems a bit. But why? You know, maybe Seth. Maybe he likes it because they took Seth out. I don't know. That's the only thing I can really grasp to even make that work. You know.
Well, I was going to say this. I was going to save it for the Rumble, but the more we talk about it, I'm trying to really not say. But could it Could it be because you brought up Seth already? So of course it's a wrestler. What if he's using Lesnar? Maybe he's threatening him. I don't know. I'm
Oh,
just
that's a
thinking of
good.
somebody.
Do you know what? That's actually. Do you know what? That ain't bad. Lesnar ringing up saying you better do it or I'll come there and F5 you could be fair
Because
enough,
you
Mr.
would
Lesnar.
you
Yeah,
would be
fair enough.
afraid. Because Lesnar don't care. I mean, he's done it to Vince McMahon before on TV, even in story, and then
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
to stop him from doing it to Aldis or Adam Pearce. He's not going to be afraid of those guys. And what's Brock here? He can just go back to Canada.
Yeah,
He'll have
well, there you go.
somebody.
There you
Yeah.
go. I mean, out there. I mean, very quickly before we move on to the Rumble, just because of Vision and stuff. Now, Theory has joined. He was the masked man at War Games. He stomped everybody, and eventually it was revealed that it was Austin Theory. I was a big Austin Theory fan. I actually liked what he was doing. He suffered a little bit with the Vince McMahon exiting and your daddy's not here anymore comments and all that kind of stuff. I think the refresh has been good for him. But when it first happened, and he's come into the ring, he's using the curb stomp, he's using some of Seth's moves. He's had some bloody great matches. He still looks freaking good in a wrestler. Him and Logan Paul, I said a few years ago, probably on this podcast with the whole phone thing at the time. Him and Logan Paul, I thought would be a really good possible tag team. We've got them in as a bit of a stable now, but they've accepted Theory very quickly without real much convincing, is what I'm getting at. Now, you could look at Theory using the curb stomp as disrespect to Seth. Again, we're very much playing what if here on the show today, but what if Theory has been sent in by Seth to keep an eye on the Vision and see what's going on? Does Seth reappear at the Rumble? No idea. Is there a moment where Austin Theory actually is not there to be in the Vision? He's there to keep an eye on him, keep a tab on Paul Heyman, and when Seth comes back, Mr. Theory and whoever else could possibly be basically Theory is a mole inside of Vision. That was my theory I wanted to throw at you, no pun intended. And I wanted to leave for the show to see what you thought. I mean, anything's possible, I know, but
No, I think it sounds very possible that Theory could be undercover, so to speak, and he's monitoring, what Paul Heyman is doing, or he's been a monitor to him. I'm not sure I got that word out. It's kind of funny, but I just think what they're doing because if you recall that segment on Raw too, it was very telling. Speaking of subtle ordeals backstage, Austin Theory, he's sitting there with this expression when everybody's like, "Oh, we're going to make sure Braun is going to win the Rumble," though it's every man for himself. Excuse
yeah,
me, and you're going to see an alliance because they are a part of a group, the Vision. And Paul Heyman's over there patting, on Braun and doing it his,
yeah,
wise man type stuff. But Theory, if you notice, he wasn't being a cheerleader. I mean, he wasn't necessarily in full support. So you wonder, to your theory, that Austin Theory could be the person that Seth is using. Maybe he came back to do Seth's moves, and to really tell you, Seth Rollins is actually the visionary. So they've got this group division, which made sense why he was the leader of the group, and that's why it was so fast when they decided, oh, they're going to turn on Seth, and you've got Theory coming back while Seth is gone doing his bidding. And do we know if the timeline, if Seth's going to be able to return for Rumble, or is that you
the,
think it'll be later? Yeah.
the speculation is Rumble, but like obviously there's always that speculation. They all think Honky Tonk Man's returning. For all I know, but like anybody can return. Vince
Shake,
McMahon might
rattle,
win
and
the
roll.
yeah. Vince McMahon might be in the Rumble for all I know. I have no idea. I doubt it, but you know what I mean. But,
I would be shocked, but who knows anymore? I mean,
I think the general it tends again Rumble could be, but I think again I'm reading different things. I mean, might be even like after the Rumble and maybe leading up to Chamber to because obviously the Rumble will kind of tell us who is going to challenge for what title to a degree, but then obviously the winner of the Rumble can choose any champion. So just because somebody from Raw wins it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to challenge Punk. It could be Drew, but I think there's a lot more going on with Drew as we've already discussed tonight, with the whole possible Sammy, all the stuff that we talked about earlier.
yeah, there's a lot.
But yeah, I don't know the actual timeline. I think we never, it could be tomorrow, or it could be Rumble, it could be Raw, but the, most people seem to think Rumble, and if it's not going to be Rumble, then around Chamber time, leading into Mania. So he's not going to. Hopefully, he won't miss Mania because he does put on a bloody good show. Yeah, but what I was
one of the best.
Yeah, 100%. What I was going to say very quickly was the in years past when we've seen Bloodline's probably a bad example because initially the Bloodline kind of lost Roman, but it kind of carried on with Solo briefly. Judgment Day was initially formed by Edge and then Rhea and then Finn and Damian and all that, and then obviously they kicked him out and kept Judgment Day going. And we've even seen people like Damian and Rhea have left Judgment Day, but Judgment Day is still going. So does Seth come back and instead of disbanding the Vision, retakes control of the Vision with different different players essentially? So it's going to be interesting. But I just thought it was with like you said a second ago on Raw when they were like, let's get Braun to win. Now Theory agreed, but maybe me and you were reading way too much into it, so it'd be interesting to know what other people think. But the way he kind of said, yeah, I agree, but it was kind of like there wasn't hesitation, but there was almost hesitation there to me when he said like, yeah, I agree, but like,
yeah, he thought about it. Yeah,
there was a half a second, whereas like Logan said, I think Braun should win. Bronson went, yeah, I agree, like straight away, not the belly, and then Austin was kind of like a slow nod, yeah, I agree. Again, we might be reading way too much into it.
We could. I've been wrong a lot more than I've been right, so who knows?
Oh, we all have, man. But the fact that you've picked up on that and I picked up on that is quite interesting. And again, either that's just our minds working in similar tandem watching it, or there is something there. I don't know. But yeah, man, winding through the show, we've done all right, mate. To be fair, so yeah, I just want to put this out there very quickly. You can listen to the podcast on at SJP World Media, or find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Search In the Corner WWE. You can also follow SJP World Media at SJP World Media on X, and then obviously follow the show at In the Corner WWE on X as well. And obviously we're on YouTube right now, which is also at In the Corner WWE as well. So I made it a little bit easier for everybody. If you want to write more than the characters allow, you can also email the show In the Corner WWE at hotmail.com as well. I'll leave that at the bottom for people who are watching quickly. But yeah, man, we've been kind of tried not to talk about it, but it's all linked. But we've got to talk about the Rumble, haven't we? Obviously, this Saturday. I mean, in the UK, it's on about 7 p.m. I believe over here because it's in Saudi. So that'll be about 1 o'clock for yourself.
Yeah, I think it is 1 o'clock here on the ESPN app. Is it Netflix for you all? Because it's ESPN
over here. Yeah, at the moment, I was really gutted when we lost to WWE Network. I really enjoyed the content and stuff. And they are slowly adding stuff. So do you guys still use Peacock for the WWE? Is that kind of like the thing over there for WWE Network?
I think Peacock's only carrying Saturday night's main event, and I think NXT for a little while, and then I think they'll eventually be off of Peacock. So as far as the library, a lot of it's going to Netflix slowly. So you're seeing a lot of the past premium live events that were pay-per-views back then, and shows, whether it's the territorial stuff like WCW. Of course, they were the second promotion, but territorial stuff, meaning, back when wrestling had the territorial system and what WWE was able to acquire, from buying out and creating when they first launched, I should say, the WWE Network. So, yeah, pretty much Netflix is becoming like Peacock, the home of the library. There's only very little as far as their relationship with NBC or / Peacock, and then ESPN, of course. So you'll start seeing replays of the premium live events they have so far. And I must admit, I'll have to go back and get caught up because there's been some months I took a break. And that's why I told you when Benny said, hey, I want to start In the Corner, I'm like, hey, I've got to get plugged in. And that's before I even knew. I was like, it's interesting, the timing, because I've got to get called back up. So I'm a little rusty myself, but I think it's fun just getting to talk about this stuff again. So thank you. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it's good, man. I appreciate. I've been looking forward to doing the show again, and it's just been it just felt at the right time. Rumble coming up, why not? It's Road to WrestleMania, and we'll be here for hopefully the rest of the year talking some WWE every Wednesday. So that's the plan. Trying to recruit a few other people to give yourself a break, when you can, and whatever, So we'll very much in the corner here on YouTube, basically very much wrestling. I know we're only just getting started, and there's a load of videos on the YouTube channel, which are basically the podcast audio versions that we did back through the last couple of years. We actually started in 2022. This show actually started, so we've been we had a bit of a break. We think last show was about April last year. I think we did the WrestleManias.
I think so.
Kind of roughly around then. We just took a break from it basically. But that plan going forward is anyway. Rumble hopes. Obviously, I mean, there's the WWE Championship match. There's some other matches going on as well. But for me, those are matches going to be entertaining. I'm not taking anything away from it. For me, it's about the Rumbles. And I love the Royal Rumble. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year, if not my favorite pay-per-view of the year. So like Rumble hopes. I mean, we've seen roughly, I think for at least terms of the men, as we sit here right now, I'll put them on the bottom of the screen. So far in the Rumble, in terms of the men's, is Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Jey Uso, Penta, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, Solo Sikoa, R-Truth, Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Obafemi has been announced now, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, Javon Evans in terms of the men. So that's about 15-ish people. So we still got half the field. We also had R-Truth give Nick Aldis 2 balls.
I did see that.
Take my balls, hold my balls, look after my balls.
Wow, what a proposition to the general manager. But leave it up to R-Truth. That's why he's so endearing to everybody. He does this comedic material so well. And he still looks great.
Yes.
He can go in the ring, and I'm glad they brought him back. I'm glad they decided to get this man signed, because he is a treasure. I'm a big fan of R-Truth. Ron Killings, I always have been.
Good. Yeah. Cake. My first real in sort of time seeing him was around the Road Dogg bit when he was K-Quick, and they started doing their getting rowdy stuff, which I'm not knowing at the time. All of a sudden, Road Dogg was gone, and I'm like, where's Kate? What's going on? Like, so, people have their thoughts about Unreal. I think it's a good tool, but I want to very quickly go through the women's. So Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Asuka, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green. Sorry, I can't do it. Jordan Grace.
No, you're fine.
Julia, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Becky Lynch, and Maxine Dupree have all been announced for the Rumble as we sit here Wednesday on the 28th, as I've said already, for the Rumble. So again, we get roughly about half the field on both, so we know roughly. So that, I mean, surprises for the women's, possibly Alita, possibly a Trish Stratus, kind of obvious, and then Michelle McCool, maybe, So there's going to be, and maybe NXT I can't talk. NXT call-ups as well is what I was trying to say. There we go.
No, I follow you. If you listen to me long enough, you'll wonder if I know English. But I was just going to say a name that I was looking up and I'd forgot about, that I think could be a big surprise, especially for the modern audience and fans for the WWE, is Paige. She's not with AEW anymore. Could she show up?
Yeah. I can't believe I actually forgot about Paige. That's mental that I've actually forgot about Paige there. But yeah. So yeah, it's just, I mean, the biggest one for me, which we're going to talk about now, I've got on the men's side, we've talked a bit at length about this already off air, but like Y2J, give me Y2J, please. If anything, ready for the game, because I'd love to be able to play that. But what version of Jericho are we going to get? Are we going to see a bit of classic? Something I saw today was a clip of Eric Bischoff on his 83 Weeks podcast. Not that he needs me to plug it. If anything, can you plug our podcast, please? But he was talking about the Saudi fans and how they love the early 2000s wrestlers, which is why we've seen guys like Goldberg, Taker, Michaels, Triple H, go over there and do matches, because they're still watching stuff from 20 years ago, and they've got more of an attachment to those wrestlers than maybe it's more than the current roster. Not that they don't like the current people, but they definitely want to see people like Triple H and Jericho is even. So I mean, Jericho coming back would be. I'm hoping that's what's true. Is it going to be the Rumble though? Do we think, Tyler?
I think you got to have it at the Rumble because it's the surprise aspect of it. And though people may see it coming, especially from over here and then Europe, maybe they don't see it as much for Saudi Arabia. But regardless, it's still going to be huge to see Jericho back. And hey, I'm one to talk about physique or anything, but this guy, he's always been in great shape. But you see recent pictures of Jericho. I mean, he's shredded. I mean, you could
Yes.
tell this, from hearing other podcasts and other people's opinions. I would have to concur. It appears to me that this man is ready to come back and do like a farewell tour, like we're seeing AJ Styles, like we've seen with Cena before, just this past year. So it's very logical and makes a lot of sense that Jericho would return and maybe not work all the time, do selected dates, whether it be pay-per-views or certain Raws or SmackDowns or a Saturday night's main event here or there. Or maybe he's involved more. But Jericho's good also about helping younger talent, and I could see him being very instrumental, like Punk and a lot of those who have come back to the company, go down to NXT and help with that talent, but also still be a huge part of the main roster, as he will be. And Jericho, I don't know what incarnation he should come back as. Maybe a mixture. Maybe he could bring them back at certain times, since it's probably going to be 1 or 2 more years. We don't know the
Yeah.
logistics, but maybe he could do the list again. Maybe he and Kevin Owens brings up some history. There's a lot more than just that, with all due respect to KO, which I found was great when they were wrestling together.
Jericho, Punk as well. I've got history as
Yeah,
well.
Jericho and Punk.
So
Yeah,
that's the
there's a lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I just want to throw this in quickly. This was actually Cy was a great idea from SJP World Media brought this up. The whole the fact that he's doing a tour with Fozzy, and from pretty much the start of Feb to the end of February, Jericho will be touring in the UK with Fozzy. So that would kind of limit him to a degree on when he could appear on TV should he return at the Rumble. Now, that's not impossible for him to maybe fly back and do a few Raws here and there, or even just maybe they could even record some vignettes and promos. So he doesn't necessarily have to be there. So it's not impossible for him to return. But the fact that he is doing this massive UK tour with Fozzy and stuff, literally through February, pretty much the entirety of February. It's a bit of an ask for maybe to fly back from Birmingham, London, wherever, Manchester, to back to the States to then do a Raw to then fly back again. Again, not impossible, Tyler, but goddamn, that's a lot of jet lag.
Yeah, you're going to be wore out. You're going to be tired if it's the case. If we do see Jericho return at the Rumble, it's still anything can happen because you laid it out. Though it's a grueling schedule with music with his band Fozzy, and that's a very important part of who Jericho is and part of his reinvention. And I'm a Fozzy fan. We were talking about Judas. That is a good song.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but Jericho, going back to the wrestling part about it, or part of it, anyways. Jericho, I can still see it because he may not. He could even, I think, to your credit, you brought it up, Benny. He could still appear on Raw, and maybe they do save it where he interrupts somebody like he did The Rock. It's possible he could interrupt somebody during the Rumble and still come out. They could tease it, and then you hear that big entrance. I mean, the way they do things, it would not surprise me. But that would be a great return. So I'm like you. I'm hopeful. I hope we see Chris Jericho back. Nothing against his AEW run. It was cool seeing him have the matches there, and he was helping the younger talent as well. And he was a big star for them. I mean, and I don't blame AEW for snatching up Chris Jericho when they first launched, and
No,
and
not.
Chris Jericho reinvented himself in Japan. I mean, this guy went back to Japan and did some great stuff. So he's always thinking. He's always creative. He knows how to, you know, still endear himself with the fans, and new fans will appreciate him. And I think that's the way to do it. Get vignettes again, remind everybody who's new to WWE, these new generations, and for the older ones, the ones like us, we're gonna definitely remember Chris Jericho. So
Oh,
it's only
yeah.
gonna it's only going to be an amazing experience to see how that crowd in Saudi, because you said to Eric Bischoff's with his great mind in wrestling. I mean, just honestly, and I mean, he knew Jericho. Jericho was in WCW for a while before going to WWE. So it's true. There's this nostalgia for the early 2000s for not only
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia but for an international audience, whether you're in the States, the UK, wherever. I mean, Jericho's got he's a great brand, all by himself.
100%, man. I mean, he's definitely, no pun intended, he's the king of reinventing himself, and sometimes it's so subtle. When I was watching him, he was the Y2J Millennium Countdown to Millennium Jericho, and then he turned into the hypocrites and short hair and parasites and stuff, which is quite possibly one of his better runs, and that which led to an excellent rivalry with Shawn Michaels over several months. I think it was like 4 or 5 months. Up to No Mercy with that ladder match, and it was really good. So I'm psyched to see him. If it's the Rumble, great. But like I said, I think a few others have said this as well. The whole possibility of him interrupting somebody on Raw and have that little call back to the 2000 and even 2007 when he came back and interrupted Orton. So Jericho's kind of the king of making an entrance and interrupting somebody. The first time it was The Rock. When he went away for a few years, he came back and he interrupted Randy Orton's celebration of being the WWE champion or whatever it was at the time, and the whole passing the torch runner thing was Break the Code, which this whole show's intro is kind of based on. To be honest, that's what it's based on because I'm a Jericho fan. Now, I will say, ladies and gents, I made this intro a long time ago, but way before, I think Jericho was very much in AEW and was champion, I think. So it's just, again, big fan of it. But yeah, man.
Well, I'm all for a Jericho return. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to agree. I hope we see it, whether it's at the Rumble or the following night, maybe down the road. I think it's going to happen, though, sooner or later. If we don't see it now, it's going to happen.
I mean, I'm going to press you for. It's going to be hard to even decide, I think, because someone I was going to bring up, which I haven't, which was LA Knight, who I can imagine returning in the Rumble as well. Dominic Mysterio, I think, will probably make a return as well. So there's going to be so many few returns and a few surprises, like there always is. I mean, I won't ask you who you think is going to win. I'm going to ask you who you want to win the Rumble, and men's and women's. If it helps, I can go. I've got one for the women's, which I can see happening, and I wouldn't actually mind if it happened, which would be Liv Morgan winning the women's Rumble, which would be, I think, really good, especially the hype that Judgment Day have got with with Roxanne and all that kind of stuff, and the tension that it could cause between Rodriguez and Liv, because Rodriguez has been chasing that world champion, and next week, I believe, on Raw after the Rumble, she will be defending the title. Stephanie Vecchio is defending the title against Rodriguez, as far as I'm aware. Last time I saw, so I mean, in terms of women's, I'm going to put Liv Morgan out there. I think that would be a really good win. But who do you think, man? It's a hard question, I will say.
It is very difficult to answer because there's a lot of options, and including surprises of where this can go creatively from that standpoint. You just mentioned her name. This is somebody I would like to see win it, but yet again, she's going to get a title opportunity the following night, and she's a part of Judgment Day along with Liv Morgan. But Raquel Rodriguez, I have just been impressed with her lately. I mean, I think I always have been. Just look at her. I mean, she's a towering presence, and I mean, she's dominant when she needs to be, much like a Rhea Ripley or a Jade Cargill can be, and just maybe in a different way. So it's really tough. I like the pick of Liv, but I would go Rodriguez. I know Jordan Grace is in there. She could be somebody that could, hey, maybe that's her way to get into Jade Cargill. If they don't go to the match right away, they've been teasing it on SmackDown. Maybe if she wins the Rumble, that's her ticket to. Of course, there'll be a women's elimination chamber match as well. So
of course,
that'll decide a lot too. Yeah, And Rhea, Charlotte are always favorites. Alexa, I think, will be in there. Yeah, she did announce. I'm trying to keep up with all who they've announced. I
Yes,
may be
yeah,
leaving
yeah.
people out. So it's good. Speaking of Jericho's list, thank God we've got these headlines scrolling, but to remind us. But I was going Raquel just for somebody different because I think we've seen
Oh
with
yeah,
respect we've seen Charlotte but once again she's getting a title opportunity, excuse me, against Stephanie Vicaire. So I'm not sure if they'll go that way, but I don't know. And it's interesting to see who's going to return. If she won kind of in that mid card spot, I would almost go with Chelsea Green. I know that's
see,
out there, but I
no,
love Chelsea
no.
Green.
Chelsea Green. I think it's hard to root against her. To be honest, she can literally just turn anything to gold. That woman, honestly, and it's
Yeah, she
been
can.
very much stated. Um, but honestly, I don't know who. I mean, Becky Lynch. I don't. I have no idea who could.
Yeah,
Which I like.
it's
Which I like.
it's harder. Yeah, I don't want to automatically figure it out. I think it's good that we're having to think about it, and it's good when we don't. Just
Yeah,
enjoy
I
it.
mean, last year for the Rumble, like I didn't actually think Jey Uso until literally the Raw before the Rumble, and the crowd pop and everything was just insane with the yeeting and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, do you know what? Maybe Jay. I think the way the crowd's responding to him and the way he's been, but I mean, this year I can't really pick. I mean, I will pick the person I'd like to see, and I think they should probably. Again, I said it already earlier. Maybe we see Sammy do double duty, and maybe Sammy wins. I don't know. Do we want Cody to win again? Not no offense to him, but not this time, please. Thank you. Um, I mean, Obafemi would be quality, I guess, but I don't know. Bronson Reed is probably a good call, to be honest.
I was
Um,
at he was going to be one of my picks. I'll just be honest, Bronson Reed, but well, actually, Brian Breaker. I'm sorry, not Bronson Reed.
oh,
That's a good pick.
sorry,
I
Braun
was
Breaker.
gonna.
Yeah, no, Braun Breaker. I
No,
meant
no, it's
sorry. Yeah, no,
fine.
I got it wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking I may have messed up too, but Braun Breaker. There's too many names with B's on them. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. But
Braun,
Bronson,
and Braun,
Braun,
Bronson,
yeah,
Braun. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Brock, everything. That's our reasoning. But yeah, Breaker. But with the Theory story with helping Seth, and maybe it's Theory that could be somebody that does it. I mean, I don't know. And then if you get Brock in, maybe he just cleans house for a while, and then somebody. I don't know if they're gonna somebody comes behind him or figures out a way. Like when they did it with Drew, that was great.
Yes, that was
When
amazing.
when
Yeah,
you didn't think Brock was gonna get eliminated,
yeah,
and then
that was
Drew,
brilliant.
gives him,
What a pop at the time.
yeah,
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah,
eliminates him, gets rid of him.
I think I had the same reaction at home. I jumped out my seat. I was like, "Yeah, go on, get out." Yeah, but like, um, I mean, one I would like to see, and it seems to again another guy that there's only so many times you can probably do this with him, but I think he's still got at the moment. Eventually, that the shine comes off the apple, and the crowd gets to a point where like, well, we've been cheering this guy, cheering this guy, and cheering this guy, but he hasn't really got anywhere. Now, I mean, LA Knight is what I'm going to. So LA Knight could be a great, um,
I would
a
be
great
for
winner.
LA. Not he needs something. Not that he hadn't been used, but we kind of can tell he's been off TV or he's either been on TV and it just kind of
Well, he got
hanging on.
the
Yeah.
story is he got injured by the Vision, so there's also revenge stuff
Oh,
kind of going on there as
yeah.
well. So
He could
it all
cost
it
them.
all
Yeah.
it all links in together with Seth, and maybe even Brock is in the Rumble, and maybe he kind of works with the Vision a little bit, but then maybe something happens and then Brock loses his temper, and then the whole lot of the Vision's wiped out. Maybe by Brock,
Yeah. By Lesnar. Yeah.
maybe apart from Breaker. So I think Breakers have got to be a good shoe in.
I like Breaker winning it. I think because he is that young stud. I mean, not only am I just taking my Steiner hat off because I love Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers, but this guy's just got it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obvious.
I
That's
mean, it's
why they're
not.
pushing this. Guys with Heyman. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not impossible for Sammy to do double duty because I think Gunther's actually in the Rumble as well. So even though he's having that match with AJ, I think he's also going to be in the Rumble. So, but again, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, but either way, it's going
It's
to be good.
exciting. Yeah.
I mean, we will get back to predictions and stuff like normal, but we thought we kind of cover a bit of everything before because Rumble's literally this Saturday, so we'll cover what we can cover, and
Yeah, might
we'll be
as
back
well
now.
preview a little bit of Rumble and didn't mean to cut you off. And I was just going to say one more quick thing about that women's tag team match.
Yeah, yeah,
I love how it looked like Liv Morgan was going to beat Io Sky with Oblivion, and it was then Rhea just comes in and does the Riptide and
yeah,
just breaks it up, and they retain. I thought it was just very well done, and I just wanted to add that real quick before we get off here. Yeah, I can't say
yeah.
enough
No,
great things about the women's division. Those are some just terrific matches
I
so
mean,
far.
one thing we didn't really cover, and I've kind of left it to last for a reason, because again, we have talked about him briefly, but the AJ Styles Nakamura match was really good at main event and stuff like that. The knee that AJ hit on Nakamura at one point was like, oh god, he's. But my surely AJ is not going to lose this Saturday, right? I almost need
I,
somebody
I
to
would,
tell me that he's not
I
going
wouldn't
to.
think so. Yeah,
I would hope
I
not.
think Gunther, they're doing a good job of making you think, this will be it. Because even they're selling it because it's true. That's the stipulation. AJ agreed to it. Gunther has ended careers, and I love the sit down interview with Michael Cole because it's about the moments that belong to Gunther. It's about these guys overstaying their welcome, these legends, these guys that have been in the industry. It's my time. It's my turn. So you let him beat
Yeah,
Goldberg, you let him beat Cena, you tease this may be it for Styles. But you got to think, well, this is being his final year. It can't be the end of the road, but why not suspend our disbelief? That's something that's missing. We need to think, oh, AJ, this may be, his final chapter already when it's
yeah.
not. But
Hopefully,
Gunther, he's a great opponent. I can't say enough just complimentary things about Gunther. I think I've been open about it before. This guy's
yes,
just got it all. And I love how he's a career killer. He's taken over Randy Orton's job. He's because Orton's become the legend killer, and rightfully so. But now we got Gunther. Just maybe it's done a little differently, but it's still along the same lines. He's taken
yeah.
out all these legends. Pretty much sums it up. So yeah, AJ Styles,
Good.
Nakamura. I just want to say, great match. I love the transition from the calf crusher from Styles into that triangle choke. Just spots like that. I'm not going to recount the whole thing, but
No, but it was
I
good.
agree
It's
with
just
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
very
AJ
good.
Styles like had an absolute. Also, I it would be cool to see him as champ one more time. So I am concerned. I am genuinely like I don't know, and I like the fact that I don't know, because sometimes you can watch it and go, yeah, well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But again, Royal Rumble in terms of the road to WrestleMania will look a lot clearer on the other side of that, and I hope that AJ Styles is still with us. A phenomenal one is still with us after that, because I think there's uh, a lot more phenomenal moments to see, pun intended, on that particular one. Um, Tyler, man, it's been great to chat to you again. Great to do the podcast again. Great to do it live on YouTube as well. Obviously, it's going to be a build. It's going to be take a little bit of time, but I think hopefully you've had fun. And man, we'll do it again next week. Hopefully,
I've had a blast, Benny. Thank you for inviting me back onto the program. I enjoy in the quarter. I can't wait to watch it. Whether you're doing them solo or having some other guests, you guys will nail it. It'll be a fantastic program, nonetheless. But I'm happy to be on here when I can, and I just want to say you got to check out In the Corner, SJP World Media, everything they're doing, and we're a part of as well, and what Benny Mac's doing with gaming, with wrestling, everything. Yeah, check it out. I'll let him plug it, but I just
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
say, yeah, the code right there. Yeah,
QR
scan in.
QR code SJP
Yeah.
Raw Media. That's their X right there. That's the audio version of the show will be on there tomorrow at some point.
Okay. Well,
Probably
QR.
tomorrow evening.
See. I'm
QR
so
code.
behind on the times. Yeah, QR code. I
Don't
just
worry.
said code. Okay.
Don't worry about it, man. I knew what you meant, but obviously, um, but yeah, man, it's been great chatting to you again. Is there anything you want to plug before you go? I know you've had a bit of time off, like myself. So, is there anything that you're doing at the moment, or something that we would maybe look out down the line for the people listening?
Well, you can still check out DDP Productions thanks to SJP World Media. It's pretty much just another feed to it. And everything. I've got a new episode that highlights a couple of the matches from the a great rivalry between Singh and Vader that I recorded back earlier this month. It's been out for a while. I'm just on social media at the moment. I'll be back this weekend at some point. But I wanted to let you know to go check out, whether Facebook or X or Instagram. That's DDP Productions. You can look it up. I've got some clips and And there's also a blog that's got some articles and things. I know me and Benny's done some collaboration as far as articles as well, if I can get it out. But I was just going to say, yeah, just go check that out. And more importantly, check out In the Corner and SJP World Media and
Yeah, man.
everybody. But yeah, if you don't mind, go check out all those social media pages and on Spotify, just like this program, go check out some past episodes of DDP Productions, Tyler's Takedowns, Tyler Talks Music, and with Scottish Danny, some of the back wins when we had that show going. So those are fun to go back and listen to.
Amazing. But yeah, if you, mate, I appreciate it. Love talking to you. Follow the show at In the Corner WWE on X. Biggest thing I'm looking for right now is YouTube channel. Get those subscribes up if you like what you see. There is going to be a lot more video content coming. The shorts and stuff from the shows will be coming out and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it from us this particular next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Tyler will be with me, and we'll be talking Rumble and a lot of other things. So see you again soon. See you in a bit.
To see if I succeed, to see if I believe they're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.